I hope you're having a good day today. We're going to be looking at the account of the faithful and wicked servant today in the Gospel of Luke. Our hymn is called Our Pilgrimage Guide.
Thy servant as by thee shall live and keep thy word without. Lord, open thou my eyes to see the wonders of thy law. A pilgrim in the earth am I, thy will to me reveal. To know and root my spirit yearns, consumed with ardent zeal. I on thy statutes meditate, though evil men deride. Thy faithful word is my delight, my counselor and guide.
Luke chapter 12, verse 35. We're going to have to read a little bit today. Let your waist be girded and your lamps burning, and you yourselves be like men who wait for their master when he will return from the wedding, that when he comes and knocks, they may open to him immediately. Blessed are those servants whom the master, when he comes, will find watching. Assuredly I say to you that he will gird himself and have them sit down to eat, and will come and serve them. That's a wonderful figure right there. Verse 37, if you've never dwelt on that. Verse 38, and if he should come in the second watch, or come in the third watch, and find them so, blessed are those servants. But know this, that if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Therefore you also be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect, like a thief in the night. Then Peter said to him, Lord, do you speak this parable only to us, or to all the people? And the Lord said, who then is that faithful servant? Like how the Lord just keeps going. He doesn't say, the Lord has a unique way of answering questions. Who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his master will make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of food in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his master will find so doing when he comes. Truly I say to you that he will make him ruler over all that he has. But if that servant says in his heart, my master is delaying his coming, and begins to beat the male and female servants, and to eat and drink and be drunk, the master of that servant will come on a day when he is not looking for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in two and appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. And the servant who knew his master's will, and did not prepare himself, or do according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. But he who did not know, yet committed things deserving of stripes, shall be beaten with few. For everyone to whom much is given, from him much will be required, and to whom much has been committed, him they will ask the more. All right, there's different things that are spoken about just in this portion. One thing you can show from the account, you can show the concept of accountability. You might think about the passage in James, let not many of you be teachers, or teachers will receive the stricter judgment. What does that mean? I think it means the same thing this passage is talking about. There from verse 47 and verse 48. If someone knows his master's will and does not prepare himself, he'll be beaten with many stripes. But for those who do not know, yet do things deserving of stripes, they shall be beaten with few. And so the Lord is aware of the opportunities that we have. The Lord is aware of our abilities. You might think about the same concept with the parable of the talents. Does the Lord expect a 5-talent man to do the same job as a 1-talent man, and vice versa? Well, no. So what does that pertain to? That's accountability. The 5-talent man, the Lord is going to hold more accountable. The one who knows the Lord's will and does not do it, the Lord's going to hold him more accountable. But you might also think about, verse 48 is one servant, verse 47 is another servant, but then verse 46 is another servant altogether. The servant in verse 46, he's actually Pardon me, let me back it up a minute. The servant in verse 45 and verse 46, he's actually abusive. See, these in verse 47 and 48, they do things that are wrong, but you have the concept of accountability. But verse 45 and verse 46, this individual is actually abusive. He's a procrastinator. My master is delaying. He doesn't think he'll be caught, so he begins to abuse his servants, his fellow servants, and to eat, drink, and be drunk. And so, sadly, that happens pretty often. When, you know, there are different passages that speak about that. Let me see if I can find one quickly. Is it in Galatians? Yeah, I might be wrong about that one. Yeah, Galatians chapter 5. There it is. For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. But if you bite and devour one another, beware lest you be consumed by one another. And sometimes that happens in congregations. People start biting and devouring each other. And lo and behold, before you know it, they consume each other. Pretty often you'll have more than one party falling from grace. It's sad, but it does happen. That's why Hebrews talks about to be very careful lest any root of bitterness springing up cause trouble and many become defiled. And so we have accountability, we have abuse issues, and of course the answer to all of these things is you better understand you don't know when the Lord's coming back. So you better be ready. We better be prepared. You know, so Peter, you know, there Peter is. Do you speak this to only us or to all the people? Like, you just be ready. You just be ready. You know, I'm just as I say that, kind of mindful of after the resurrection, when the Lord is talking to Peter and talking about how Peter was going to die. And Peter turns around and says, well, what about this guy? Talking about John. And Jesus says, if I will that he remain until I return, what's that to you? You follow me. You just be ready. You might consider it. That's what we're all called to do, to be ready, understanding that the Lord holds us accountable, and need to be very, very careful how we treat others. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good day. Join us tomorrow for another portion of our Daily Praise.